Hey guys, Redditting here, and we are back with some more SCP readings. Today we are on to SCP-40, Evolution's Child. Item, SCP-40, Object Class, Anomalous Human, Containment Class, Active, Hazard Rating, Yellow. Standard Containment Procedures, Two-person residential model. No amenity restrictions. Access to site library, recreational facilities, cafeteria, and public areas. Supervised. Dietary restriction. Mild peanut allergy. Youth educational curriculum enrollment. Doctors Abanthy, Logan, and Azawa. Bi-weekly psychological review and physiological review. Dr. Albany. Schedule B Experimentation Plan. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-40-1A, 1C, and 1J have been approved to remain in the containment chamber with SCP-40 for purposes of the subject's mental well-being. Special Chief. Security Chief Special Order 392-5. All other entities modified by SCP-40 during testing are to be disposed of after study according to standard biological specimen. Clearance protocols, as outlined in document CDP Bio EN-1. Description: SCP-40 is a human child capable of at-will manipulation of the physical characteristics of living organisms. Modified organisms are collectively referred to as SCP-41. Modifications are primarily cosmetic, ranging from simple color and pattern changes to more involved shifts in body form and structure. The creation of new specialized organs is possible, but appears to be the limit of SCP-40's ability, and currently has a 66% failure rate in testing. Modifications are limited to what is physically possible, regardless of the possibility of such a feature naturally arising. For example, while SCP-40 can grant an organism wings that does not naturally possess them, they will not permit the creature to fly without meeting other physical requirements. SCP-40-1 undergo behavior shifts as part of the modification process, acting with extreme loyalty to SCP-40 regardless of prior association. SCP-40's anomalous properties requires significant focus and time to enact, and causes intense headaches and nausea when performed for more than a few minutes at a time. The effect becomes increasingly unreliable and inaccurate the smaller the modifications or more complex the changes are. SCP-40 is incapable of altering microscopic organisms, and also has great difficulty in altering plant life. Dead organic material may also be used, but must be used in conjunction with a living organism. SCP-40-1 instances cannot be modified more than once, although it is currently unknown if there is a hard limit of SCP-40's properties, or from lack of mastery over them. SCP-40 his emotional state is within acceptable boundaries for an individual of his age group, accounting for the effects of a prolonged containment and parental supervision. Subject's intelligence is slightly above average for its age group. Behavior is generally cooperative. SCP-40 acclimatized quickly to containment and responded well to the initial orientation and socialization programs. SCP-40 responds to the name 40 and does not appear to have any other given or chosen personal name. Date of birth 2000. Subject claimed to be 8 years old at date of containment. Place of birth unknown. Date of containment blank blank 2008. Height 111 centimeters. Weight 20.7 kilograms. Hair bright pink. Eyes green, right. Yellow, left. Heterochromia, black sclera, left. Other notes: blind in left eye. Skin sensitive to burns and easily bruised. Hair is brittle and falls out easily. Recovery summary. Subject was taken into custody on blank blank 2008 as part of a raid on the keys to the Kingdom Christian Charter School for Gifted Youth in Redacted, Colorado. The raid's primary objective: bring in the capture or execution of blank blank, a former CIA operative who had previously worked alongside Foundation intermediaries as part of Project Black Book, Project Simulden, and Operation Stargate from 1967 to 1971, was successful. Blank was terminated on site and disposed of without incident. Of the 15 children recovered from the facility, SCP-040 was the only one to demonstrate anomalous properties. The others were administered amnestics and placed in Foundation-observed foster care. Interviews with staff at the school revealed that they were unaware of Blank's prior history or any communication with the Foundation operations. They were administered amnestics and put under a 6-month communications monitor. No relapses were recorded. See Operation Tazelworm After Action Report for complete event record. Which we will not be doing. Addendum 1. SCP-040 is currently allowed custody of the following SCP-040-1 instances. SCP-040-1A. Symbiotic organism capable of changing size, shape, color, and texture in reaction to its environment. Subject serves as outer clothing, similar to a jacket or sweater, and absorbs nutrients from SCP-040's bloodstream. Subject was recovered alongside SCP-040, and genetic testing reveals that the object shares the majority of its genetic makeup with the common house cat, Felius cactus. SCP-040-1C, spherical organism capable of flight by means of rubbery bladders filled with lighter-than-air gas mixture. Entity has 11 limbs terminating in opposable digits, and a complex respiratory system capable of replacing a wide variety of musical patterns. SCP-040-1J, quadrupedal organism covered in a thick coat of pink and blue fur. Entity has no eyes, a broad mouth with blunt teeth, and is capable of climbing up vertical surfaces. Occasionally used by SCP-040 as a means of transport. Addendum 2. Following interview excerpt is dated blank blank 2008, shortly after SCP-040's initial containment and orientation sessions. Dr. Abernathy. Good morning, 40. SCP-040. Good morning, Miss Abernathy. Sounds like you're getting over your cold. I'm glad. Can I ask you a few questions before we start with today's lesson? Yeah. Can you tell me about your parents? Mr. Green said I don't have any. Can you tell me about Mr. Green, then? He was nice, but he wasn't very good at talking. He would always talk like this, but he wasn't there a lot of the time. Most of the time, it was the nurses looking after us. And what did they do for you? They played games with us and teach us things, and sometimes they would make us wear these dumb helmets and sit quiet for a long time. Sometimes they'd put a movie on for us if we behaved, but if we were bad, they'd lock us in our rooms. Can you tell me anything else? They always served us peas for dinner, and I hate peas. So I gave mine to 5, because she liked peas. But I think green beans are better. Addendum 3. Blank blank 2009. SCP-040 successfully reanimated a dead human body during testing, using 3 specimens of brown rat, Rattus norvagus, as the required living component. Result: subject retained no memories of previous life, and was judged to be of an appropriate mental capacity of a human toddler. SCP-40 was highly distressed by the event and refused further testing for the next 3 weeks. Footnotes. Investigation during Operation Tanzelworm confirmed that blank blank had been operating under the name Henry Green since at least 1982. So that is SCP-40. A little girl that can make things change, give animals different properties. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So now we're on to SCP-41. Thought Broadcasting Patient. SCP-41. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-41 is to be hospitalized at Bioresearch Area 12. Although not Keter class, should SCP-41's abilities ever propagate beyond a reasonably containable area, the risk of SCP-sensitive information being broadcast to the public remains too great a risk and warrants area-level isolation away from the general populace. SCP personnel wanting to keep their thoughts private are advised to remain outside of a 50-meter radius from SCP-41, beyond the designated red circle on the floor. It is beneficial to the mental health of SCP-41 to have a sitter in the room who watches television and concentrates on its programming. This allows SCP-41 to effectively watch television through the mind of somebody else. The optimal sitter is a Class D personnel with below average intelligence whose mind does not wander or have more than one train of thought at a time. Although not mind control, SCP-41 has used its abilities to coerce sitters into watching programs that they don't themselves enjoy. SCP-41's tastes vary between gore slasher films, having even expressed interest in snuff, and children's programming. Description. SCP-41 is a male human suffering from irreversible damage to the central nervous system, which is believed to have been caused by an infection of a rare strain of bacterial meningitis. Although antibiotics were successful in clearing the infection, the membrane surrounding his brain and spinal cord had reacted to the infection by severing many neurons connecting to the central nervous system to the rest of the body. SCP-41 must rely on a respirator to sustain its breathing, a bioventricular pacemaker to keep its heart beating, and a nasogastric tube to provide nutrition. Visually, SCP-41 appears to be in a persistent vegetative state. However, observers in the presence of SCP-41 begin to realize that their thoughts, along with everyone else's in that 10-meter radius from SCP-41, are broadcast in a semi-audible fashion. Aside from being the source, SCP-41 is also capable of broadcasting its own thoughts to those patients. Anyone forming an idea using words will have those thoughts unwillingly transmitted to others in the range of mind-audible speech, which cannot be recorded by any known equipment. Correction, see Addendum 1. Mind-audible speech may be heard using whatever voice a subject chooses to think with. Most typically, it's the subject's normal voice. See Document 1. Visual thoughts and images are broadcast as well, but not received as readily. Images are most effectively transmitted when both the sender and receiver have their eyes closed. The sender concentrates on a single object without environment or background, and the receiver's mind is clear of conscious thought. Communication between objects using visual images, particularly those not rooted in memory but in imagination, is usually difficult. The sender typically has trouble conceiving a highly detailed mental object from a single point of view, while the receiver may often try to fill in the gaps of missing information, ultimately resulting in the receiver seeing a different image from what was sent. The most difficult imagery to be successfully broadcast appears to be a person's face, particularly if the image is one of a person in motion. Although able to transmit his thoughts to others, SCP-41 is not very talkative. Attempts to persuade SCP-41 to divulge any information about its abilities has so far been fruitless. SCP-41 is typically silent and normally will not respond to any direct attempts at communication. However, SCP-41 appears to have a sense of humor as he interjects occasional comments into conversations of others. Addendum 1. While researcher Blank was taking voice notes using a digital audible recorder, a fellow researcher was changing the television in SCP-41's room. While the television was on a channel of static, disembodied voices could be heard throughout the white noise. Attempts to record mind-audible speech with white noise generators and sound recording equipment have begun to yield modest results, although most audio is garbled, and recorded sounds may or may not be the voices and are widely left towards individual interpretation. Addendum 2. It has come to my attention that several personnel have used SCP-41 as an ad hoc she likes me not detector. This is one of the most appalling things I've ever heard. Are we safeguarding potentially world-destroying objects, or are we in 3rd grade? Dr. Clean. Document 1. Researcher quote. You know, the first time I was in the room with Kent and 41, I kept hearing this singing. It was this little girl's voice singing some kid's song. It wasn't the TV, and it definitely wasn't the radio. It wasn't in our heads, so I think, if I was stuck in bed without anything to do, I'd sing like a little girl too. And then this voice came into my head. Hey, it's not me. I don't know that tune. Then old Kent looks at me, gone all white in the face, Note. This event occurred after SCP-039 was placed in a chemically induced coma. Any connection between the two SCPs is currently unconfirmed. I don't know what SCP-039 is, but that is SCP-41, and I think we're going to end there today. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because why not? It's free. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, bye!